Hi there. I'm Pete May, president of GreenBiz Group, and delighted to be here this morning with Sara DeSmith, who's the ESG assurance leader at PwC. Sara, good to have you on studio today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And I wanted to ask you about your role. In sustainability, we get people coming into the field from everywhere, from operations, from supply chain, from marketing, from communications. You had an interesting path into ESG. Your background is as an auditor and a CPA. So tell us, how did you go from the world of accounting into ESG and sustainability?
Yeah, I've had a lot of different jobs with PwC over the years, but I mean, I grew up in the core financial statement audit practice as up through my senior manager years. But actually, the majority of my partner years, so the last 15 or so, have really been as an accounting advisory subject matter expert, really helping my clients and companies adopt new accounting standards and practices. So think of things like IFRS conversions and adopting the new revenue recognition and leasing standards. But I came to ESG about 6 years ago, and that's really just, ESG is just the latest form of corporate reporting evolution. So my focus these days is really helping my clients develop their ESG strategies, really to address the specific needs of investors and other stakeholders, and then providing advice as they work on developing really high quality investor grade disclosures that are decision useful for those stakeholders. So think of, we have now different corporate ESG reporting frameworks and ESG reporting standards. That's it's a little bit different than traditional financial reporting standards, but not that different. So it's helping our clients manage change and adapt to the new reality of stakeholder expectations.
Yeah. So we're finding in the ESG space. So you mentioned your clients. Your clients, presumably, these are large, multinational, Fortune 1000 kind of customers. We find them right now. There's this game of translation. What investors are looking for in the information they're dealing with and wanting, and then what the corporate side folks, the information they have, they're providing, and what they're offering up. There seems like, there's an awful lot of it, and there's a tremendous amount of standards and confusion, and there's on the one hand, it seems like there's a surplus of data, but sometimes not seen as the data that's needed. So that seems to be an overarching challenge. Tell us a little bit about how you at PwC, how you're dealing with that, and what you're doing for your clients in that realm.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's been a kind of rapidly evolving landscape where we've had Europe maybe taking the lead for the last decade or so, the US sort of rapidly trying to catch up and being much more focused on what institutional investors and asset managers are looking for. So think of, there's been a historical approach to sustainability, which was much broader, I think, in terms of topics and focus areas versus now that it's evolved into ESG, which I think of sometimes as a subset of sustainability that's more focused on the key risk areas that investors are focused on and what's important to investors. So helping companies kind of distill, what does that mean? How does it align with the generally accepted reporting frameworks and standard setters in that space? And how do you take what investors are looking for and really make it resonate with a company's own purpose and values in a real authentic way? So we know from all of our experience here and talking to investors in the United States, they are very much focused on what are the key risk areas on a sector by sector basis, and what are the topics and most importantly the metrics that companies should be reporting in order to hold themselves accountable for managing those risks appropriately. So oftentimes clients have been reporting for many years in a bunch of different areas, but they haven't connected the dots to exactly what investors are focused on. So sometimes it's just drawing that alignment for them and helping them figure that out, and recognizing that the world is moving toward generally accepted frameworks and standards in this space. That's the only way that investors are eventually going to be able to make real sense of the information that's being put out there into the capital markets. So helping them understand, what does the TCFD framework say about disclosing your risk posture around climate change? And what are the SASB standards all about? And do the SASB standards really align with the storytelling that a company has been doing about their own purpose and values for the last few years? So it's kind of bringing those two sides together and helping them tell a story with meaningful disclosures that are going to serve the most stakeholders, and then doing that in a really high quality manner.
Yeah. So how do you do that for your clients? How do you what do you provide for them?
So yeah, data quality is the name of the game in this space these days. I'd say that many leading companies are recognizing the value of building trust and transparency around their ESG programs, and they're really looking to their independent auditors for third-party assurance and for, well, if for our audit clients, for our non-audit clients, they're looking for the expertise that comes with a firm from a firm like PwC to really help them build robust programs so that when they are adopting these reporting standards and they're communicating their efforts to the capital markets, that they're doing that in a really thoughtful, um, thoughtful way that incorporates processes and controls and governance and review, similar to what they already do around their financial statements. And that's really untrodden territory at this point for a lot of companies in their ESG reporting. I would say that ESG is kind of in the pre-Sarbanes-Oxley days right now. So there's quite a steep maturity curve that many of our clients are going through now that they're realizing that not only are their most important investors focused on this information, but now we have our regulator here in the US, the SEC, paying close attention to climate change and ESG disclosures. So many of our clients, my main job is helping them align to the generally accepted accounting standards, and then really building robust processes and controls to help them communicate their efforts with high quality.
Interesting. Yeah, that's great. And just in closing, you mentioned you've been in the field for 6 years. Look forward 6 years, because this is obviously a field that's evolving almost by nowadays by the week. But tell us, what is ESG for you? What does it look like in 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, that's hard to predict, but the pace of change has just been tremendous. So I think we're really going to see the most rapid transformation of corporate reporting than we've seen in decades. I envision that we're going to really move now toward actually embracing integrated reporting. So where non-financial drivers of enterprise value, which is typically tied to ESG topics, are going to be naturally and easily combined and reported right alongside financial results, and often within the same forms. Maybe that's going to be the SEC 10K filing, or whether it's going to be a combined integrated report that's published to better communicate the company's long-term value creation story, or really communicate their enterprise value. But I see us moving toward integrated reporting for real in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's going to be a really exciting time, and they're exciting weeks, months, and everything. We're excited to be seeing how this unfolds at Greenfin. And Sara DeSmith from PwC, thanks for joining us this morning on Studio.
Yeah, happy to be here, and we're very excited to be sponsoring Greenfin for the second year in a row. And I think it's a great program. It brings together, both sides of or all sides of this important corporate reporting evolution. So looking forward to it.